Do 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 do. Oh, hi internet. Didn't see you there. How are you guys today? Welcome back to my YouTube channel now. No, it's not my YouTube channel, even though wifey keeps saying, why don't you just put your name in the YouTube channel? But I really like the name Esiri's Corner, so it's gonna stay that way. Welcome. This is Carson's time today. Coming at you with a little bit of a different setup. You can see my computer setup's back here. I've got my plant. That's my fern. That's my fern. This is where my magic happens. Actually, you've seen me gaming like a slob in this video or in other videos. Anyways, today I wanted to do a different video. Something that I've wanted to do for a long time, but I never really knew how to go about it. And I thought, you know what? Let's just talk about it. So this video is. And it's a list video, so it's kind of clickbaity. But I promise it'll be interesting. At least I hope so. This video is 5 things that I wish, as a beginner in the gym or on my fitness journey, that people had told me. Or 5 tips for beginners as well. Disclaimer. I am not a medical professional, nor am I a dietitian. This is just my personal experiences and the advice that I wish somebody had taught me. So obviously if your doctor or your registered dietitian or somebody of that nature tells you something different, please disregard my advice and continue with your day. Thank you. All right, number 1. So you've decided you're fat, maybe, or you don't like the way your legs look. Or maybe your arms have a little bit of that grandma jiggle, or whatever it is. Maybe you've got 3 chins. I don't know what your problem is. Maybe you just want to be stronger. Maybe you want your belly to be flatter. I don't know what it is. My first tip, and this is something that I think I struggle with, and I'm pretty sure everyone struggles with at some point, and I've got the list right here. So remember, oh, you can't see that. It's a white screen. Oh well. Number 1 is consistency is key. Let me say that again. Consistency is key. Now, this drives me insane. I see people all the time go, hey Carson, like you go to the gym a lot. You go to the gym like 3 or 4 days a week, right? That's really cool. I think I'm gonna start exercising, whether it's running up the mountain or going hiking or walking around the block or dieting or whatever their fitness journey is gonna start with. Everybody says the same thing. I'm gonna start X, Y, and Z. And they start it and they go ham for like 2 weeks and they're just like, I'm running 8 kilometers a day and I'm drinking 400 liters of water and whatever. And then after 2 weeks, they just kind of stop and peter out and they go, well, I didn't really see any results and I got discouraged. Don't do that, please. Consistency is key. Now look, you're gonna have up days and you're gonna have down days. Some days I go to the gym and I crush it like I'm on some sort of steroid made of like Harambe, the gorilla's blood, and like bull shark testosterone. Some days I go in the gym and I throw weights around like I'm a bull in a china shop. Other days I go in the gym, I do some light cardio, I lift some weights until I'm mildly perspiring and I'm like, you know what? I'm done for the day. And that's okay. What's important is I went. I didn't skip the day. Now, obviously, you're going to need rest days. That's different, though. It's important to take rest days. But we're not going to talk about rest days right now. We're talking about just if your schedule is gym time or fitness time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you need to go Monday, Wednesday, Friday with as few or no exceptions as possible. Because if you're not consistent, and I don't mean consistent for 2 weeks, I mean consistent for probably the rest of your life or as long as your fitness journey is going to be. If you're not consistent, throw out all your goals. Throw out all your aspirations, because you're not going to get there without consistency. And I know that seems pretty self-explanatory, and I'm pretty sure a personal trainer or a dietitian would say the same thing, but it bears reiterating because so many people do this. I see it all the time in my family, with my friends, even me sometimes. Like, I want to do this, and then I'm not consistent. Well, you're not going to see results with anything if you're not consistent, which leads me to my next point. Number 2, set for yourself. You can't see this, but I need it for my notes, okay? So bear with me. Realistic, meaningful, and incremental goals. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's define our terms, shall we? Realistic means, is your goal achievable in your lifetime, right? Is it something that you could do based on your current lifestyle? Can you exercise 14 hours every day? No, that's not realistic. Most of us have to work or go to school or whatever. So it needs to be realistic. It needs to be something that you, on your own, can achieve. Now, number 2, I forget my own list, I'm sorry. Meaningful. Set a meaningful goal. Ladies, this is for you, mostly for you, because I don't think men do this very much. What do I mean by meaningful? I mean this. How many of you, and I know it's all of you because I've done it too, but it's all you ladies out there have done this. I just really want my belly to be flatter. Is that a meaningful goal? What does that mean? What does that mean? Look at my belly. Is my belly flat? I don't know. Maybe. Some people would say yes. Some people would say no. I don't know. It depends. It's not meaningful, okay? Saying, I want my belly to be flatter isn't a meaningful goal. Flatter could mean 1 millimeter smaller, and it could also mean a six-pack like Dana Lynn Bailey and you look like an IBF pro, right? So it needs to be a meaningful goal. It needs to be something that you can define. Something like, I want to fit into, I want to fit into that old pair of jeans that I no longer fit into. Or I want to weigh 10 pounds less. Or something like that. Weight, we're going to talk about scales in a second, but put that aside for now. So your goal needs to be realistic, achievable on your own, and it needs to be meaningful. It needs to be something you can define. Because if you say, I want my belly to be flatter, you could achieve that goal in 3 weeks. Don't eat any sugar, drink less water, eat less carbs. Your belly will be flatter. But is that really what you want? Do you want some sort of like Band-Aid patch that you're gonna be like, I'm finished, I'm done? No. And the third point, it needs to be an incremental goal. This is something I wish somebody had taught me when I was starting out. I was about 250, call it about 260. I had gone through, this is about 5 years ago, I'd gone through some surgeries and I wasn't allowed to really do any physical activity. I've always been a bigger dude, but I was like really heavy then, and I wasn't exercising at all because I wasn't really allowed to, so I was getting like obese fat, right? But my goal was just to lose weight. And again, so that goal is realistic. I can do that, but it's not meaningful. Lose weight doesn't mean anything. Losing 1 pound is losing weight. Losing 60 pounds is losing weight. So I didn't really pick anything. I just said I want to lose weight. And my incremental goal, you're not going to lose 60 pounds overnight. If that's your goal, that's not going to happen overnight, right? You might not be able to fit into those jeans today, but I bet you after 2 weeks, you'll be able to get them around your waist again. You know, that's an incremental goal. Baby steps. We're working towards our goal. We're not just going to get there overnight. You don't go from 150 pounds to 125 pounds overnight. That's not how it works. Everybody knows that, but nobody ever seems to think that way if you're outside of the fitness community. You have to set incremental goals for yourself. So the next 6 weeks, I want to lose 5 pounds or whatever your goal is. I want to be able to run a mile in, how long does it take to run a mile? I don't know, like 10 minutes, 20? 10 minutes seems fast, but let's say 20 minutes. I want to be able to run a mile in 20 minutes. I want to be able to hike. There's a mountain outside my house. An incremental goal could be, well, this week I want to be able to get to the top of the mountain without feeling like I'm going to have a heart attack. And, you know, by the end of the month, I want to be able to jog up part of the mountain. That's a realistic goal. It's meaningful. I can define my terms. I can define what means success and what means failure. And I can also do it incrementally. I'm not just going to be able to run up the mountain after 3 days, but if I set my goals properly, it's something that I can measure and something that I can achieve. So that's number 3. Let's go on to number 4. That was actually number 2 because your boy can't count. Your boy can't count. So now we're on number 3. That's really embarrassing. I'm a teacher too, and like, I'm educated and I can't count to 5. But hey, there's no way to edit that out. So there you go. Roast me all you want. Number 3. This one's for the ladies mostly. Let me zoom in. Here we go. Ladies, this is mostly for you. Are you ready? Skip all the fad diets. Now, what do I mean by that? You know what I mean. Skip the fad diets, ladies. And men too, but mostly ladies. How many of you have done a juice cleanse? How many of you have done like a no carb ever, blah, blah, blah? How many of you have done like I'm gonna only eat 2 eggs in the morning with some green tea? That'll put my body into hyperketosis. That's not a thing, but whatever. And then at lunch, I'm gonna have a single bagel. And then at dinner, it's 3 strawberries on my salad and 1 shot glass full of, I don't know, bacon grease. Ew, don't do that. Anyways, my point is, skip the fad diets, okay? Fad diets don't meet our criteria. They're not a realistic goal. Are you gonna do that fad diet for the rest of your life? Are you gonna do a juice cleanse for the next 40 years, 50 years, however old you are? No, you're not. They're not meaningful. What's the point of a fad diet? To lose weight. How much weight? You could just stop eating. That's technically a diet, and you'd lose weight. That's not a meaningful goal. And it's also not really incremental. It's not an incremental change. You go from, I eat like this, to I eat like this. And you do it overnight, and your body goes, what the fuck? And your body freaks out, and you have cravings, and you have all kinds of stuff. Skip the fad diets, okay? If you want to lose weight, and I mean like, by weight, I mean body fat. If you want to lose that, it really is like, and again, I'm not an expert, but it really is just calories in, calories out. Most of us don't need to do a fancy Atkins keto vegan diet or whatever, although actually, I shouldn't say that. Veganism's a different thing. It's a lifestyle change, so I wouldn't really want to talk about veganism. I don't consider veganism a fad diet, so if you're already a vegan, good for you. That's a pretty impressive change already. Good for you. That's a realistic change. But fad diets, juice cleanses, all this crap, they are not realistic, they're not incremental, and they're just not sustainable, right? You're never going to be able to stick to them. And even if you do for a little while, eventually you're going to change, and when you change, you're going to lose some of your progress, although I don't really think like juice cleanses give you much progress. But anyways, that's number 3. Skip the fad diets. If you really want to lose weight, just calories in, calories out. Watch your calories a little bit. Cut your calories by a couple hundred. Maybe change what you eat a little bit. Sure, we want dietary restrictions. You shouldn't be drinking Coca-Cola every day. You shouldn't be eating fried chicken every day. You don't need to eat spaghetti and meatballs every day, right? Put more vegetables in your diet. Put more fibers in your diet. These kinds of things are meaningful changes. But skip the juice cleanses and all that kind of stuff. Okay, ladies, please stop. Thank you. Number 4. Now this one's kind of hard for some people. I find it kind of surprising because as a dude, it was never really an issue. But I could understand for some people it can be very intimidating. Don't be afraid of the weights. No, for real, don't be afraid of the weights. Ladies, if you start lifting weights, you're not going to have any issues, okay? Women have this idea that like, they're always like, I just want to tone. I don't want to get bulky. Ladies, I've been trying to get bulky for 5 years and I look like a barely overdeveloped 15-year-old, okay? You're not just going to pick up a 4-pound weight, do a couple shoulder presses, and look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's not going to happen. You're not going to look like a female bodybuilder if you pick up a squat bar and you do some squats, okay? I have a friend, let's call her Blate. That's way too obvious. Oh well. Sorry girl if you're watching. She gets compliments all the time. She lifts weights, right? Women always say to my friend, Blate, that... That's so stupid. Oh well. Women always say to her, like, I always hear them like, man, she's got a really nice booty. Like, it looks good. Man, her shoulders look good. Her arms look tight. She doesn't have the grandma arms or anything. Like, good for her. I wonder what her secret is. And I'm like, she doesn't just do cardio. She diets, yeah. She does lots of cardio. Sure, she bikes everywhere, all these kinds of things. But she lifts weights. She lifts weights. And you know what? She lifts pretty heavy weights, too. Like, I can keep up with her sometimes. There's some exercises where I'm like, I'm going to die. You do your thing. I'm going to take the weight down. And you know what? She doesn't look huge. And if you're watching again, please don't cut me. I don't mean you don't look muscular, and I don't mean you're not meeting your fitness goals. So please, friend, don't kill me. What I mean is, she doesn't look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. She doesn't look unfeminine, whatever that means. She doesn't look masculine, whatever that means. She doesn't look like me. She looks like a slim, sexy, svelte, muscular woman, and she looks fit and strong. And it really adds to her confidence level to be able to be like, bam, and show off her muscles and stuff. Don't be afraid to lift some weights. I promise you, it's not going to hurt you. It's only going to help you. How many women out there, and this is mostly for my African women who have the stereotypical kind of wabam, how many of you like your junk in your trunk, but maybe you want it to be a little firmer, right? Or how many of you like the way your upper body looks, you just want it to be a little tighter? Lifting weights will help with that. If you just do cardio, you're just going to lose a bunch of weight, and then the minute you stop doing cardio, you're probably going to put most of that weight back on. But if you lift weights, you change your metabolism, you build some muscle. The muscle is going to make you look leaner, which is in turn just going to make you look like you lost weight. And it's also going to just make you look curvier too. It's definitely going to make your butt look nicer too, if that's what you're in for. And my case in point, look at like a female volleyball team or female athletes that do a sport that isn't just running. So like not necessarily like a long distance runner, obviously they look very lean, but somebody like a female volleyball player, or like maybe even a football player, or even like a female martial artist. Do they look like bulky? Not usually, maybe like an MMA fighter, but volleyball players, like beach volleyball ladies, do not look bulky to me. So maybe that's just me, but don't be afraid of the weights. And I know it can be intimidating, but get yourself a personal trainer. They'll teach you a basic weight routine, and you just go with that. It's also an incremental goal, because you can start off with, oh, I can barely pick up this 2-pound weight and push it over my head. And in a couple weeks, you're going to be like, wow, I'm at the 3-pound weight. Wow, I'm at the 5-pound weight. This is an incremental, and it's a meaningful goal. You can set for yourself that you can say, like, I want to be able to bench press 50 pounds. And right now you can bench press 15 pounds. Well, that's a realistic goal that you can work to. So it's gonna help you lose weight. It's gonna it's gonna make you look sexier. It's gonna make you look leaner, and it's probably gonna achieve all the goals you want it to. And that's without even the diet side of it, right? I'm only about 25 pounds lighter than I was when I first started exercising. I was like 260 pounds, call it. 250, let's say 255. Right now, I'm sitting at about 230. But I promise you, I look way different than I did in 2014. I looked obese in 2014. I just look like a big guy now. And people all the time tell me, like, man, how much weight have you lost? But I haven't actually, in terms of just the number, hasn't changed too much. I mean, 25 pounds is a lot, but it's not like 50 or 100 or anything like that. But because I put on a decent amount of muscle and I've toned up my body in a meaningful way with weight training, I look a lot different than I used to. So don't be afraid of those weights, ladies. Pick them up. Plus, you know what? They're probably gonna make you feel real good. Number 5, and I double checked to make sure we are on number 5. This one is ignore people's unsolicited and unwanted advice. Now, but Carson, aren't you giving us unsolicited advice right now? Well, yeah, I'm telling you what I think and I'm trying to give you some advice, but hey, you clicked on the video, so I'm going to assume it's not unwanted. Oh, it's really hot in here. Sorry guys, it's like 60 degrees in Korea right now, and that's Celsius, not Fahrenheit. I'm not an American. It's really hot, so I apologize. I'm starting to look all sweaty and stuff. Anyways, back to it. Ignore people's unwanted advice. This happens to me so much. Oh, it used to drive me crazy. People will project their insecurities onto you in the form of advice. And I've seen it done to me. Well, I experienced it. I've seen it done to other people. Let me give you an example. I had started my fitness journey. I was about a year in. I was about 2 waist sizes smaller. I was starting to wear like large t-shirts and XLs instead of just double XLs. Everything was going great, right? Was I perfect? No. Had I lost like 1 billion pounds? No. Wasn't really worried about that stuff. I felt better, I looked better, and I was way more confident. One day I was sitting at a dinner table, and I was like proportioning what I eat pretty well. I had a bunch of lean proteins, and I had some rice and some vegetables, but that was the dinner that night. But I deliberately was like, I'm not gonna eat as much white rice because, you know, starchy carbs and all that stuff. And somebody at the dinner table looked at me. I don't remember why. I didn't have a shirt on. I was with my family, I think. And I didn't have a shirt on because I had just showered. And I was eating dinner. And this family member kind of like patted me on the belly and was like, you know, you should work on that. Like, I know you're doing a good job, but like work on this, right? Okay. First of all, I know this family member meant well. But that was completely unsolicited. It was completely unwarranted. And it was really frustrating to me. Because it just screams insecurity, right? They know that you're doing well, and they're mostly just upset that they haven't made any meaningful changes themselves. That's what it always seems to be. But aside from that, everybody always has these like, oh, you started your thing, well, you should do this and that and the other, and blah, 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 and everybody does that. I mean, like I said, I'm doing it right now, but again, you click the video, so you're interested in what I have to say. And you know what? If this doesn't work for you, then don't do it. You need to find what works for you, what is a meaningful change that you can make in your life to achieve your goals, and stick to that. So don't worry about what your family says, and don't worry about what your best friend says. Don't worry about what YouTube says. I am aware of the irony, believe me. But do what works for you. Do what is meaningful and sustainable for you. Don't worry about somebody, oh, you're not a vegan, you should be a vegan. If you don't want to be a vegan or you can't be a vegan, you shouldn't be a vegan. If you don't want to do a juice cleanse, or you feel like a juice cleanse silly like I do, don't do one. I promise you, 99% of you, unless you're already like a personal trainer, can lose weight and make meaningful aesthetic and fitness changes in your life without all the fluff, without all the extra stuff. So don't worry about what people have to say. Don't be afraid to post a selfie and celebrate your own success. And don't worry about it when people make comments about what you're doing. Oh, you should do this, or you should look at that, or like, don't worry about any of that garbage. It's all negative, it's all useless, and it's just going to impede your progress. So don't worry about it. You're a beautiful person, and we need to celebrate that. Okay? All right. There's your pseudo positivity for the video. So I think did I finish? Yeah, we did. Cool. So, just like Brittany says, you gotta work, bitch. So, you know, I'm gonna get demonetized. Oh wait, I don't even make money on this platform. Oops, never mind. Just like Brittany says, you need to work, bitch. So get in there, okay? And P.S. Also, like I said, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a personal trainer. So anything I said here that you disagree with or you're kind of like, disregard, because like, again, it's about what you need. And if this advice is unwarranted or unsolicited, then don't listen to me. But these are just my personal experiences. So let's go over them one more time. We had consistency is key. I think that's the most important. Regardless of what you're doing, if you're not doing it consistently, throw it out. Number 2, realistic, meaningful, and incremental goals. This is really important, I think, for most people to not get discouraged. Realistic, meaningful, incremental. Are your goals that? Have you clearly defined what it is you want to do? Yes or no? If it's no, go back to the drawing board and figure it out. Number 3, fad diets, throw them out. Veganism, paleo, keto, all those kinds of things notwithstanding. Those are meaningful lifestyle changes that you could probably do for the rest of your life. Those aren't what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the juice cleanses and the only eat apples until 3 p.m. and the black coffee and yelling at a picture of yourself naked until 2 p.m. Those kinds, you know what I mean. Those kinds of bullshit diets. They're all garbage. They will make you lose a little bit of weight, but then when you stop them, you're going to gain it all back and maybe more afterwards. They're not meaningful lifestyle changes. Throw them out. Number 4, don't be afraid of the weights. Get in that gym, lift them, or whatever it is. Lift stuff, lift heavy stuff, develop your muscles. Don't just run. Running is great, cardio is great. Work out. Trust me on this, you're gonna like it. You're gonna like it. You don't have to be in a gym. Maybe you wanna get into the pool with ankle weights on. Maybe, that sounds stupid, mate. You might drown. Again, not a medical professional. You know what I mean. Don't be afraid to lift weights, not just running and cardio. Do what works for you. Do what works for you. And last but not least, ignore people's unwanted and unwarranted advice. Once again, I am aware of the irony. I am giving you advice right now. I am a stranger to like 99% of you, but what I mean by that is basically don't let your haters get you down or something like that. You know what I mean by that. Don't let people tell you what you should be doing. Do what works for you, and even if it's a small change, if you do it consistently, it will be a meaningful change, and it'll be incremental. You'll work to something else. So, good to see you again, YouTube. I will see you in another video. Esiri and I have one where we're cooking up right now. So, ciao. See you next time.